Greetings, besties. Welcome to your April readings. If you're new here, these readings are done by zodiac sign elements. So for the month of April, we are doing them in the order of air, which is Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini, and then water, which is Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio, followed by fire, Sagittarius, Leo, Aries, and then finally, for the ending one, we have earth, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. So as always, you can listen to your sun sign. I always say listen to your rising sign, if not your rising sign even more than your sun sign. If you are looking for a direction on a particular part of your life, you can look up the planet or the house that rules that energy and then listen for the element of that. I do have a great video on the breakdown of the planets if you want to go watch that. And also make sure that you go back and check out the Aries season reading. So if you are looking to jump ahead, check the description and it'll tell you the exact timestamps for when the different elements start. Again, we are doing air, water, fire, and earth. Happy April. All right, we are starting off with air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So I say this every time. I should always keep track of what I do for previous readings because I know I got the Chariot for somebody in just the previous Aries reading. So three of the four cards for this month's reading are major arcana cards. So this is big change within life, right? And I am just obsessed with this card and the depiction of it because I love that she has this like energy power coming out of her like solar plexus, and then also the little stars that are coming out of her third eye. And to me, it's this idea of connecting that personal power with like that knowing that is our intuition. Remember, like our intuition, we know things, right? And we get that gut feeling, right? So it's the connecting of the two is really coming up. And also I'm looking at her hands and how they're connected down to this forward movement and how the horses are all on the earth. So it's like this groundedness, right? So it almost feels like this energy that's moving forward. That's like, I'm following my intuition. I am like full-fledged, like in my power, listening to my gut. And I am like fully grounded and just like, I mean, her eyes are even closed. Like I'm trusting in this forward movement. Okay. So, again, this is air signs and it's like this energy of, moving forward into this month with control, with determination, believing in yourself. It's just like this like sense of like moving fearlessly toward whatever you want, like moving towards your dreams, doing it again. It's literally like, it's like we are led from a sense of power that is like deep within our being and just like a knowing, right? So whatever it is that you're on this journey for, maybe it's a self-care journey. Maybe it's we're trying to do discipline and do A, B, C, and D every day, whatever it is, right? Whatever we're building towards something, it feels like there's this energy that is like this thing that we've wanted and this determination that we've put down. And it's like Spirit is literally saying like, you have the means within you if you just go forward, if you just move. Like it's about internal drive. It's about finding like that passion within. And again, like it's almost like they're saying like, we have so many thoughts going on, and it's like if you could tell in the picture, like the main energy is coming from that solar plexus gut feeling, right? So yes, we are being guided by our intuition and we are being grounded down to the earth. And also, obviously, there's lots of horses. So if horses mean something to you, that would be a thing too. But this really just feels like this like deep, passionate, like from the gut inside energy that we are using to like move forward right now. So this is a Chris Ann book, this tarot deck. It's the Muse. And I love Chris Ann because she writes her own decks, like the books. So I'm going to read her little clip about the Chariot because it reads very much like an oracle card and like a divine message. So she burned her plan into her mind's eye and into her heart. Uphill or downhill, she is determined to get there, and nothing will stand in her way. Drawing down the power of the cosmos into her solar plexus, all of her willpower pours out into the night and etches her path in the sand. 1,000 horses thunder into the ground below her, and she stretches her hands to connect into their galloping energy. The horses have a different idea about where they want to run to. Some pull left, some pull right, but the Chariot Muse, which would be you, with all her resolve and determination, coaxes these wild beauties onto the right track. She wants to remind you that your will is your magic and that your purpose will guide your steps forward. Well, pretty much what I was just saying. Move ahead confidently because with steady, controlled movements, you will see your dreams in the distance and catch it. Charioteer, ride through the night, the oceans, times, and places. See the goals, release your light, determine forward paces. Again, this is big change. And I feel like this is, we go through these ebb and flows where it's like rest, contemplate, think, plant seeds. And Spirit is saying, like, it is whatever that deep inkling in your gut. Sometimes we get pushed to such uncomfortableness that we have no choice but to make a change. And that uneasy, that restlessness that you feel in your body, that is this now. It is like, things might fall away. We might have loss with this change. It might not be easy in all aspects, but at the end of the day, when 1, 2, 3 months down the road and everything is fully aligned in the way that it's supposed to be, you are going to feel 1,000 times lighter and have more abundance and more love and more openness and more natural flow into your body. If you just trust, like, you have to make the change that is necessary. Again, sometimes we are made to be so uncomfortable that we just have no choice, right? And it's like that uncomfortableness pushes us. So go with it. Okay, air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, happy April. Alrighty, we are now at water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. So this card is the number 20. It's called the Awakening card in this deck. This is the Judgment card. This card is gorgeous. Look how beautiful this woman is. I just love the depiction of how it's just her in the picture, right? In the original Rider Smith Coleman deck, there is, a person standing in a boat and they're, looking to the sky and there's all these angels. But I like this because it's just her. And she's like, this energy is coming from her heart that she's projecting out. Yet she's like part of the cosmos, and what's the word? It's like a kaleidoscope type look all around here. And then like this like comet, it just feels like this. It's like more of like a connection to spirit and more of like a connection to the universe for this higher calling that you have, right? Like this destiny. It's like this, it just feels very connected to higher self, right? Like it feels kind of emotional in my body the way that I feel about it, because it's like you are really stepping into that connection and understanding of your divine place, like in the cosmos, your connection to spirit, your connection to the other side, the other realms, like how big and how vast and great the universe really is. Okay. So, this card gives me a lot more like ascension type vibes, right? There's a sense of acceptance in this card. There's a sense of, letting go of anything in the past that you're holding on to, that you're judging yourself for, or that you're feeling shame for, or just like any resentment. And it's just like this opportunity for our soul to just be like lighter. And it just feels like there's like some great awakening and experiences. And Spirit says like, I want to show you these things and I want to connect with you. So give me the opportunity, right? So this would be like when you say like Spirit, like, play games with them and ask for signs and ask for the divine intervention. And again, this is kind of going to piggyback off of the air signs, where it's like with these great changes and these things, when we rise up, people can't always come to meet us. And so there has to be an acceptance and a trust to that what is for you shall not pass you. That's one of my absolute favorite things to say. And like trusting in the divine timing of life, and that, if things are falling away, it's for the better for you. Okay. Let's read what she says about this. Rising above the clouds, we find clarity in ourselves, in our past, and our actions. The key to this judgment, this awakening, this reckoning of the heart and memory is to be able to dish out radical self-compassion and forgiveness. See yourself as the beautiful spark of inspiration that you are. You are divine, love, mystery. And when you open yourself up to this beautiful truth, you will see that your flaws are rooted in your humanness. Beautiful soul, bright, shining light. Awaken to the magic you possess in your heart and see your past as the incredible lesson that it was. A history of beautiful and broken things that have brought you right here to this moment, to this place where you can bear witness to your own magnificence. Where the judgment is to be laid down by your own honest heart, and where forgiveness of the spirit is a remedy for your beautiful future. So it feels like there's a shame towards self and choices we've made, and there's like this outward reflection of thinking that like our relationships and our lives and these things that have happened to us are because of something we've done, and that we know better until what is the Maya Angelou quote? It's like, do as best you can until you know better, and then do better, right? That's one of the four, there's one of the four agreements talks about that, doing the best you can at any given time. I really personally have been working a lot with the energy of like forgiving myself for not knowing then what I know now, because some lessons only come with experiences in life and growing old. Like there is no way a 22-year-old woman can have the same mindset as a 40 or a 60-year-old woman because their experiences in life have just not given them those opportunities yet, you know? Um, what we are but ashes, fire, water, and air, laced with pure magic and dusted with prayer. So there's just like a divine surrendering that you're being asked to step into, a releasing, laying it down, giving, some people would say that, give it to God, whatever it is. It's just like this breakdown. We're just like taking this shadow, this veil that we've only put upon ourselves because we're so sensitive and we feel things so deeply, and it's time to just give it to God, give it to spirit, let it down, and just release it. And today is actually the full moon. If you're listening to this on April 1st or the next couple of days after, you can even tie in that full moon energy, but you can also use your own energy and the energy of whatever the moon cycle is in for whatever you want, whatever you need it. So anyways, this is water signs: Scorpio, Cancer, and Pisces. I hope that you have a beautiful April. Alrighty, we are now at fire signs: Sagittarius, Aries, Leo. This is the death card. No, it does not mean actual death. It means the death of a part of us or a cycle. It's about cycles and ending, right? It's about rebirth. It's the number 13. This is a beautiful card. We're going to pull it a little closer and look at the imagery in it. Just look how beautiful she is in this webs. And I'm not sure what these little red dots are. Let's look closer. It's interesting. They're almost like little pins. I can't really tell. If you know what you think those red dots are, comment and let me know. But these women are like intertwined in this web, and there's this moth, and then how it's like kind of over this person's mouth with this other web. But it's almost like there's two different versions of this person, right? Let's see. This is intense. It just feels like there has been something for so long, just deeply rooted, that has caused you to be, it's like these two versions of yourself. And like this version is this person that lives in the shadow and has these thoughts and is tied down by this web and carries all of this energy like in their crown. But then it's like, this is like the person we were before that. And there's like this, it's like, what the moth represents and the rebirth of the moth and all the spiritual meanings behind the moth, which I can't tell you off the top of my head without rambling on a lot. But think about kind of the same-ish idea of a butterfly, but also the fact that, moths go to light. But it's almost like something has been there's like a shadow and a veil over you where like the moth that you've been trying to come out of this, and then you can work on this energy down here, but it's like you haven't been able to. And honestly, part of it feels like other people. It feels like this influence of other people, whether it's like ancestral stuff that we've carried on, things that we've been taught since childhood. Again, relaying back to the previous message of this sense of like shame about, expressly, openly, like being who we are. But it's like we need to like lift this moth energy off. And then it's like these webs come off of us and we're able to speak. And then it's like, as we're speaking in this like divine heightened energy that slowly is like transmuting down, and it's, gonna clean all this up and then get down here. And then this person down here can start to breathe. So it just feels like there's like this big transformation with some layers of some deeply rooted things that are wanting to be peeled off. And it's almost like, it makes me think of like a mummy, like that, like this person's like been wrapped, and it's like, we're wanting the freedom. I really wish I had one of my animal books with me right now, because I would love to read about the spirituality and the meaning specific to a moth. So if this is resonating with you and you're connecting with this, I just highly encourage you to go read about specifically the moth. And also like ask yourself, like, what is this veil I put over myself? Did I put it here? Did my mom put it here? Was the way I treated it in elementary school? Is that what put it here? Like, what is this? And like this cobweb, but it's almost like you've put yourself to sleep underneath it. And we need to like lift and untangle all of this. And then this energy down here, this is like a magical energy where like all of the work is being done and this person is in control more. So we need to get down here. Okay, let's read what she says. This ancient dust, her lungs reek of it. This stuckness and her fragmented selves want to fight their way beyond their self-made tears. She could open her heart to clearly see the rebirth that is being offered, but sometimes it's just too hard to see. The muse smiles down to remind us to just let go and to allow the old decay in order to create the nutrients for new. Fill your lungs with a crisp air of something unexpected, and know that these beautiful, fertile grounds will be the brewing pot for things you have dreamed of but not yet found. Let go of the things that have kept your land sterile and rise in your rebirth. Awaken to the truth that everything you need is inside of you, and from this perspective of seeing new growth, you may notice that from a distance, a burial and planting look a whole lot alike. Aging the sage and saging the ageless, transcendence, ascendance, let's rise from our cages, decaying the frayed and changing formations, rebirth and renewal, forcing new creations. So again, April with the spring, fire signs, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, this is about rebirth. I mean, that is it. It's about the death card is about letting things die so we can have a rebirth, planting things in the ground, and things change, new cycles about that. So let this be a time for you for that. I said that at 4:44 on the timer. Whatever that means to you, whatever part of your life, it really feels like a big part of it is like a part of your persona and this layer that you've put on yourself, your personality, if you will, this protection that's ready to be shed so you can renew and let this new version of yourself out. Okay, fire signs, have a great April. All right, last but never least, we are on earth signs, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Capricorn. This is the page of inspirations, also the page of wands, right? So it's a little bit lighter energy for the earth signs this month, because these other ones were major arcanas, and this is more about personal influence or the influence of people around you, and it's more about characteristics of self and influence of again, the way that we do things, the way that we're approaching things. There's some energy behind this drive we need to be having, or this could pertain to somebody else in our life. So always remember that when we have the court cards, this is either a persona of ourself or a person's energy in our life, something that we need to embrace or something we need to let go. But it represents a person, and it's always non-binary. Okay, so pages are students. They're enthusiastic. They're excited. I feel like a lot of these messages kind of get repeated, even if I don't remember them throughout the seasons, because we hear the same shit over and over again when we don't listen. So I feel like that's part of the message, right? Have I heard this again? Is this the same shit I hear all the time? Every time I get a tarot reading, they say this. Every time I meditate, they say this. Every time I go to the doctor, they say this. Well, they're going to keep fucking saying it until you do it. I wish you could have seen the facial expression I just made. That's the way that it works. I did a reading for a dear friend years ago, and she was just kind of annoyed. She was like, that's literally the same thing that I always fucking hear. And I pulled cards this morning, and I pulled 2 of those 3 same cards. What do you want from me? Do you need any more confirmation? So the question is, earth signs, why are you being so stubborn? Why aren't you doing the things that need to be done? Huh? That's the question, right? This person is enthusiastic. They get shit done. They plant seeds. They're successful. They have a zest for life. They're creative. They do shit. Where has that energy gone? It's I hear stop making excuses, right? This is day-to-day bullshit. It's one of those things. I saw this great woman on TikTok, and her whole theme is let's do things that I've put off and see how long they actually take. And it's cleaning the bathroom, and then she'll go through, declutter the entire bathroom, and the whole thing took 45 minutes, and she'd been putting it off for 6 months. Or, let me clean out my pantry, that she'd wanted to do that for an entire year, and it took 30 minutes, right? So it's one of those things where ask yourself, what are these little mundane things that I'm putting off for no reason? And what is the avoidance about? And stop that. Just do what you're supposed to do. I also hear you cannot blame ADD or anything like that on this. This is something else. Let's read what she says about the page of inspiration. A cloud of ideas blooms overhead, popping with the excitement of what could be. This page of inspiration really can't help herself. She always has 1,000,001 thoughts flowing in succession. Well, speaking of ADD, that's funny. And all of them carrying a spark of infinite possibility. She laughs at the thought of putting each one of them into action. Okay, let me speak on that really fast, because this is something that I just was discussing with somebody and read about, and it's coming up again now. People joke about calling themselves ADD. People joke about squirrel and this and that. And a lot of us just have very fast brains who do a lot of things at once, especially women who multitask. ADD in itself can actually be very detrimental to you in that it's impacting your life, and work is not getting done, and things are not getting done that are very important. That is not the same as, I just was going to clean my kitchen this morning. And then the next thing you know, I'm unpacking my laundry and, doing this tarot reading. But I also went back and finished the kitchen. And it wasn't like I did not pay my taxes, right? So there's a difference. So that feels like a side message too of like this like idea of like putting a label or an excuse on us. And that's just the way that I am. That is the worst energy that anybody can ever say, that this is just the way that I am. It's an excuse. So don't do that. And that doesn't just apply to that. That applies to every part of our lives. I could say that to myself. I don't run. I lift. I box. I do yoga. I take very good care of my body. I just don't run. That's an excuse. I could very easily run. I just don't want to. So I make up reasons why I can't. There you go. See, I even hold myself accountable. She laughs at the thoughts of putting each one of them into action. She will be the first to tell you that she will gift you an inspiration, a thought, a reason, a bright rain at the end of the drought, but it is not her zone of genius to make that idea reality. This is your job, my love. Her, again, putting things into action. Like, it's nobody else's job to do it. You have to do things yourself. Her rainbow hair sways in the wind and another idea pops effortlessly, this time for someone else. As she drizzles a symphony of solutions, answers and potential, she shares them freely. Again, this is the idea of like, do you do for yourself the things that you do for others? Do you practice what you preach? I feel like Spirit's laughing at me because I'm a real good teacher, but doesn't mean I always listen to my own lessons. And now it's your turn to root into your belief, hope, and faith and take action to make them real. Inside my mind, this cosmic spark and all the lines of light, a code that dives deep in the dark with radiant shards of sight. So again, practice what you preach is one other final message. I feel like there's like 7 different underlining things for you guys, earth signs. But this is lighter. This is day to day. This is like, Spirit's kind of like, when are you going to get your shit together, big dog? Come on now. Come on. So I love you, earth signs. I love you, earth signs. I do. Capricorn, Venus, my Venus. My brain got frazzled there. My chart is 40% earth. Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus, which is what my Venus is in. I love you all. Have a wonderful April. As always, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed these April season readings. It's always fun to go back and check previous months as well. And make sure that you check out the monthly zodiac sign readings by season. So currently we have the Aries ones up. Any likes, shares, subscriptions, I truly, truly appreciate. Have a wonderful April.